From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 10 o'clock news.
Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Russ Riesinger. One man is dead after a police-involved shooting in Billings.
This was a rapidly evolving incident that took place under 30 seconds, and it could have been disastrous.
The chief says the suspect, resisting arrest, pulled a gun on officers before the officers fired off multiple rounds. Although none of the officers was wearing body cameras, the chief says there were several dash cams rolling that will be used as evidence in the investigation. Here's Q2's Mitch Legge with more details from police.
Billings Police Chief Rich St. John said that the incident happened in under 30 seconds, and two officers fired multiple shots that killed the 29-year-old man from Box Elder. It started on the 2200 block of Avenue C underneath the awning of a covered apartment complex parking lot. A neighbor called in two suspicious vehicles that were parked at odd angles around 10:20 p.m. Monday night. 4 police officers arrived and found 3 total suspects, 2 of whom were in vehicles, while the Box Elder man stood over the open hood of a car, appearing as if he was working on the engine. Police tried to detain the man for questioning, but he would not comply. Officers struggled with the man on the ground while he was lying on his stomach. They were trying to get his hands out from underneath his body and deployed a taser that had no effect. St. John said the man pulled a semi-automatic pistol from his waistband area and pointed it at police. Officers Ryland Nelson and Justin Bickford fired multiple shots at the man. It's not clear how many were fired or how many hit the man, but he died in a Billings hospital overnight from gunshot wounds. St. John said the initial investigation found that the man did not shoot any rounds at police. 2 officers, both 3-year veterans of the department, are currently on administrative leave. The city of Billings has seen its fair share of shootings this year. St. John said the problem is very multifaceted, but drugs like methamphetamine generally play a role in the crimes.
I mean, obviously we have our drug issue. Methamphetamine plays prevalent here. As I stated, that these individuals last night are known to law enforcement. They're known to be involved in drug activity. One of the cars was stolen. We know that the Highway Patrol have chased them a couple times. So you just have that type of reckless behavior. Now we introduce firearms. The one thing that we're starting to see is some random acts of violence, which is very concerning. Historically, most of the stuff that we've seen has been some sort of acquaintance, drug deal gone bad, angry at somebody, whatever the case may be.
St. John said police don't know why the suspects stopped at the apartment building in the first place. None of the officers were wearing body cams, but multiple dash cams on patrol cars recorded audio and video. Billings police will investigate the incident and turn their information over to the Montana Department of Justice and Yellowstone County Attorney's Office for third-party review. In Billings, Mitch Legge, MTN News.
St. John says the other 2 suspects were questioned and released at the scene. Detectives say they did find a syringe and baggies with drug residue in one of those vehicles. 7 more COVID-19 related deaths to report tonight, in addition to the state announcing 5 this morning. MTN reports with these 12 deaths, along with more than 500 new cases reported today, the statewide death toll now stands at 230, and Montana's total cases have now surpassed 20,000. Now, Bighorn County reports 3 deaths today, moving its total to 32. Local health authorities there tell us that is a 2.9% mortality rate. In Western County, Ravalli County also announced 2 deaths later on today. Governor Steve Bullock held a news conference this afternoon where he talked about additional measures that some counties, including Yellowstone, are taking to try and slow down the spread of the coronavirus. Bullock said the Billings metro area now has the 18th highest number of cases per capita in the nation. He's calling on county attorneys to do more to enforce health orders.
Likewise, there's no expectation that every single violation of a health order will be or should be remedied through enforcement. But our public health officials will find themselves helpless to combat the virus if they don't receive the support that Montana law guarantees them. It's worth noting that among large counties, those that have taken civil enforcement action against some of the most egregious bad actors currently experience much lower rates of transmission.
Bullock says the state will partner with counties to provide relief dollars to investigate and enforce health orders. Yesterday, Q2 reported that most complaints in Yellowstone County have been handled with a conversation rather than citations. Metro Park will cancel all upcoming events through November 9th. The Board of County Commissioners says that decision came after Yellowstone County health officer limited group gatherings to 25 people. Metro Park staff has since directed to inform promoters and vendors who've directed staff to inform vendors and who've rented a space there at Metro Park of those cancellations. Now, the commissioners say that decision to cancel events at Metro Park was not made lightly, as they understand the need for events in the community, but they couldn't ensure adherence to those new restrictions. And Billings Public Library also taking action after yesterday's announcement. The library will close its doors to the public starting tomorrow, October 14th. During this time, library staff will continue curbside service. Curbside service hours will not change. The library will also continue to offer all online services and remote programs. For more information on that, you can go to ktvq.com. Also, more changes coming to the Montana high school sports calendar. Today, the MHSA announcing it will delay winter sports practices until December 7th and hold off on all competition until after the new year. Those changes were agreed to in today's monthly meeting. This means there will be at least 2 weeks between the end of the fall sports season and the beginning of winter. Competition will be allowed in the first full week of January, starting Monday the 4th. Championship dates have not been pushed back, meaning state wrestling and swimming are still scheduled for mid-February, though both competitions will likely face format changes to adhere to COVID guidelines. The final weekend of the fall sports season is set for November 20th and 21st. All right, Chief Forecaster Bob McGuire joining us now. And Bob, some changes are certainly blowing our way with the weather.
Yeah, speaking of weekends, it'll be coming this weekend, one of the big changes. Let me show you. Here we are, and you'll notice that we're up there about Friday morning, 7:22. Not much going on, partly cloudy skies. Looks like a pretty nice day. In fact, we're going to probably get up to 62 degrees that day, but then watch what happens. Here comes the rain showers moving in Friday night about 10 o'clock, and then by Saturday morning, that rain changes to snow. Snow sticks around throughout most of the day on Saturday, and then it looks like this starts to go away. But how much snow are we talking about? Well, here's what the latest computer model says. 2 inches of snow for Billings, 7 at Livingston, 6 at Lewistown. I should say at the Bozeman, and 8 inches of snow expected at Lewistown. So we could see some significant snow moving in on Saturday if everything comes true the way it's coming down the pike, and it looks like it. If it all comes true, we'll see some significant snow. Russ?
Thank you, Bob. Supreme Court nominee Amy Coney Barrett defended her judiciary philosophy while declining to say how she might rule on issues related to health care, abortion, and the upcoming election. Natalie Brand has more from day 2 of her confirmation hearing.
In a long day of questioning before the Senate Judiciary Committee, Supreme Court nominee Amy Coney Barrett argued if she's confirmed, her rulings will be based on the law, not her personal opinions.
Judges can't just wake up one day and say, I have an agenda, I like guns, I hate guns, I like abortion, I hate abortion, and walk in like a royal queen and impose, their will on the world.
She also sought to separate herself from the late Antonin Scalia, the conservative justice for whom she clerked.
I want to be careful to say that if I'm confirmed, you would not be getting Justice Scalia, you would be getting Justice Barrett.
But she offered few hints as to how she would rule on key issues.
Justice Ginsburg, with her characteristic pithiness, used this to describe how a nominee should comport herself at a hearing. No hints, no previews, no forecasts.
Still, Democrats pressed her about the current case challenging the Affordable Care Act.
I have no hostility to the ACA.
They also questioned her about abortion rights.
It's inconsistent with the duties of a sitting judge, and therefore has been the practice of every nominee that sat in the seat before me to take positions on cases that the court has decided in the past.
Judge Barrett would not commit to recusing herself from possible election challenges that come before the court, but she also stressed that she's had no conversations with the White House on specific cases.
I certainly hope that all members of the committee have more confidence in my integrity than to think that I would allow myself to be used as a pawn to decide this election for the American people.
The 22 members of the Judiciary Committee will have another chance to question Judge Barrett on Wednesday. Natalie Brandt, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
The Republican-led Judiciary Committee has scheduled a vote on Barrett's nomination for this Thursday, with the expectation the Democrats will request a one-week delay. Still to come on the MTN News at 10 here on Q2, an order by the U.S. Supreme Court could dash Montana's hopes of gaining another seat in Congress. We'll explain. And playoffs are underway for high school soccer. Scott Breen will join us a little later with all the highlights from Amen Park.